We all know about the best part of college.
I came here to study the great American art of muff diving.
That's a talented man right there. That's what I'm talking.
Fill it up again!
But like any good party, college can leave you with a painful hangover. Most of us come to college not really knowing what we're getting into. Like this girl.
Why did you come to college?
Because I graduated high school.
So, while many of us were not sure why we were going to college, we knew we had to go. And for many of us, that meant asking mom and dad for money.
Junior year is where we really start to focus, particularly with parents, on setting parameters. So if in fact, as a parent, you know you're probably not going to support a $60,000 tuition per year, then you need to have that conversation with your student, because the cost of education is just, it's outrageous at some places. It really is. Not only the cost of tuition, the cost of applying. Because you can spend probably $1,000 in just the process.
The cost of college can be detrimental to social mobility and can create tense situations for families that struggle to send their child to college.
But there's a lot of research out there that says students from all backgrounds, but particularly from various racial and ethnic groups, and also from lower socioeconomic status, they'll see a price tag and automatically discredit the school.
This is just a byproduct of neoliberalism's effect on higher education. But cost is just one of the many facets of the new neoliberal higher education system. Politicians further encourage the commoditization of education.
My alternative is we have to start to put market forces on these college costs.
We can do what the private sector has done, keep the cost down, but also make sure we focus on where there's jobs, where there's degrees.
President Obama once said he wants everybody in America to go to college. What a snob. He wants you to go to college. He wants to remake you in his image.
And while we, as a country, are more aware of the skyrocketing cost of college, tuition increases are not going away anytime soon.
Why do we have to have a tuition increase? So most of our revenue comes from net tuition revenue. And that's what pays the bills. Over about 75% of it. Our largest expense is compensation. So it's faculty salaries and administrative salaries and all of the staff that do all the work at the college. To stay competitive with the rest of our peers, we have to offer competitive salaries, and we have to have salary increases.
So we have disciplined increases, and recently Rollins increases annually have been 4% or under, and inflation has been running somewhere around 2%, so they're still greater than inflation. Are we still moving towards a place where the published price is a deterrent? We're already there, right?
An investigation of spending per student from 1998 to 2005 indicates that we are there. Public collegiate spending increased 0.2% per student in this period, but increased their total spending by 7.9%. Private universities spent 4.5% more per student, but 17.8% more in total spending. To further compound the issue, tuition nationwide is rising past inflation as well. To put this in perspective, this graph shows the rise of tuition since 1980, and this graph shows the rising cost of bread. If bread were to rise at the same rate as tuition, a loaf of bread would be over $30. While colleges are increasing revenue to pay for compensation, not every employee is receiving the same benefits. College and university faculty suffer from exploitation and stagnant pay.
Okay, but looking at faculty, how do you make faculty cheaper? Is pay them less or replace them with people that get paid less. Some places will pay just a couple grand for teaching one course. So if you think about a full load at Rollins, you'd make $12,000 a year, which is well below the $20,000 which would put you at the poverty line if you have a family of 4.
Today, according to the American Association of University Professors, non-tenured faculty account for 2/3 of the academic workforce. Furthermore, according to Frank Donahue in the Hedgehog Review, 85% of adjuncts are hired on year-long contracts, and their course loads are not guaranteed.
I was told to never.
The neoliberal economic policies of colleges have turned students into customers and intellectuals into worker bees. This focus is detrimental to both colleges' missions and our culture as a whole. In 1960, Harold Dodds, the 15th president of Princeton University, warned that if colleges are focused on fundraising and revenue as opposed to education, the future is dark for higher education in the United States. As previously stated, the largest expense of a college is compensation, but college administrators are paid a good portion of that compensation.
You know, college administrators are well paid, there's no doubt about it. And administrative leadership is compensated in a way that is commensurate with responsibility.
As evidenced by the past few years, Rollins administrators have earned sizable salaries compared to what adjuncts are paid at the institution. 45% of Rollins students surveyed thought high-level administrators made under $100,000, illustrating the disconnect between administrative earnings and student awareness. On average, college and university presidents are paid about $428,000, nearly 4 times what the average professor is paid, or the cost of 20 students' tuition at an average 4-year college. But presidential and administrative pay is not the only increasing cost of higher education.
There's 2 growing areas that have been constant throughout my 35 years, IT and student affairs, because of the changing needs of the students.
A major part of student affairs is not necessarily student care, but activities for students. Many colleges have major events like concerts, which result in pictures for marketing brochures and online material.
Really, colleges just spend too much money on shows because they don't know anything about the booking process. They have no idea about the market value of an artist because they have incredible student fees and just ridiculous budgets they can work with, and they just buy what fits in the budget. Most of the artists know that, and they rip them off and upcharge. It's pretty usual.
So, colleges become known for having money. It's this business model that has transformed education. Education is not enough to offer anymore. Like hotels or new age apartment buildings, colleges have to offer amenities.
What has changed over the years, the physical plant, the dorms, the amenities have changed tremendously over the years. That's what I'm seeing is different, and that matters to students. Colleges they're doing all of that to be competitive with other schools.
And then when the students get here, what keeps them here is the ability to make sure that you're meeting their needs and they're getting a good education, and you're providing the types of amenities that students are expecting when they come to college.
Because you have a whole lot of people giving advice to students and hanging around thinking about how can we make students happier, it's not clear that they really have the answers to the kingdom, to me at least. And maybe if you really gave students more power to make more decisions, you might be able to make better decisions about, we don't need to spend money always if we organize things more rationally and cleverly.
51% of Rollins students surveyed supported a tuition decrease, even at the cost of some non-academic programs. The average student debt is $28,950. This current structure of students spending more and more, potentially entering debt, with many academics receiving poverty-grade wages and administrators accounting for a large portion of university budgets, is unsustainable and should be questioned and critiqued to maintain the integrity of higher education. There's no question that people get into education for good, and college personnel, including administrators, tend to be good people, but this structure must be critically analyzed before this bubble bursts. We need to have these conversations before education becomes no different than any other for-profit company. Students need to start asking these questions of staff members. We need to stop blindly accepting what we are told and critically deconstruct policies and practices of our respective colleges. Have the conversations with staff members, professors, and administrators, and then we can make progress. Many administrators state that this is just how it is, and this is just how the market is. But once we accept that, we give up. And they should not accept that either if they want their institution to prosper. The relationship of students and administrators is no different from citizens and government. They should know what is going on in the school, to the point where 84% of students surveyed expressed agreement that there should be more transparency in financial decisions and distribution. We can't let something as fundamental as education become a product like a new car or a boat. If that happens, we might never be able to go back.